My name's Hanley. I'm the host of On the Line With, a podcast based out of Ottawa. We speak about the arts, mental health, drug addiction, social causes and issues, and we're not here commending them or glorifying them. We're here speaking about it, getting down to the facts, getting down to the causes and effects, where it leads people, how it hurts people, how it hurts you. We're here to talk about how people deal with their mental health, self-care, self-love. The show's about helping and inspiring. Nothing more than that. My goal is to help and inspire. And when I say that, I mean help and inspire by helping someone maybe go and get the help they need for their addiction, or inspire someone to pick up a microphone or a pen or a brush and create an art. That's what we're here for. So again, my name's Hanley, and you'll be on the line with me. Welcome back to On the Line With. This is episode 10. Today I'm on the line with a special guest straight out of Brooklyn. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Normally I tell you who it is, but I'm so stoked to have him on. I'm going to let him do the job. So go ahead, my dude, and introduce yourself. Let him know who it is. Let him know where you're repping, and let him know what's up.
What's up, y'all? This is Wordsworth. Straight from Brooklyn, New York. But right now I'm in Florida. And Lyricist Lounge, Punchline and Wordsworth, EMC, MTV Lyricist Lounge Show, and just staying busy, man. Staying busy. What's up, y'all?
I'm glad you're here, man. Finally, it's been a minute. We've been working on it for a few weeks there, trying to get it popping, but I'm glad that we finally got it. I appreciate you coming on the show, so thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks for having me, man. We've been trying to get this going for the past couple of weeks, and life is just, life comes first.
Exactly. That's right. Like I said, family first, all that. So I guess I'll jump into it. When did you start making music? How old were you when you started making music?
I started making music when I would say around high school. So I was around 15. That's when I really kind of started going to the studio and meeting people that had studios. So it would be around 15. I've been rapping since 5th grade, though. So I was rapping since 5th grade, but definitely started seeing what a studio was at 15. Had no access to any of that. Usually it was just banging on a wall in the elevator coming downstairs, or banging on somebody's car hood, and we would be rapping then. Or you had your friend beatbox, of course.
Oh, straight old school then, banging on the walls and the beatboxing.
Yep.
That's what's up. That's the era I love. So
yeah, that's typically what it was. Or you go to school and you're in the cafeteria during lunchtime, somebody's banging on the table and you say a couple bars. Or I remember having a substitute teacher for gym, and we were rhyming in a classroom because we didn't have gym. So it was just anytime and anywhere. That's what I love about hip hop. It could be an anytime, anywhere thing. You could dance anywhere. You could start making raps anywhere. It's almost you can almost do anything anywhere with hip hop.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot that you can do with hip hop, and there's so many elements to it that makes it what it is. You know what I mean?
Yep, totally.
So like graffiti, for instance, like I know some dope ass graffiti artists that are hip hop artists too. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're from Vancouver. Snack the Ripper.
No, I'm not aware of Snack the Ripper, but that's dope. Yeah, graffiti. I mean, it's dope to see how a lot of people took graffiti and then started turning it into like a business. And I believe if I'm right, the Tats crew, I believe they started making it more like a business, and they would do murals for businesses or grand openings and things like that. So it's just nice to see how people can use these skills that we started off with being on the street and transition into making it business.
Right, exactly. And when you started making music, do you remember the first track or the title of the first track you made? I know it's a long time ago, but...
The first track I made, I don't recall the name of it. I remember the first rhyme and song I wrote was called The Principal. And I called it The Principal because it was the new school. So I figured in the new school, who's the leader of the new school? The principal. So I wrote a rhyme about being the principal and the leader of the new school. And then in the studio, it just was various kind of verses at that time, not necessarily a song yet per se.
Right. Okay. So you'd be in the elevator or whatever, just banging on the elevator walls, just making a beat or whatever, or having a homeboy like beatbox, and you'd be rapping over it before you went to the studio, like before you ever hit the studio, you were doing that type of thing?
Yeah, I would just be out there in the elevator, going down upstairs, and then, we get outside, and then the front of the building was just cars there, so they would bang on the car hoods, and then we'd be rapping from banging on the car hoods, and then a lot of us would just have friends that would beatbox on the way home from school, and that was the other times we would practice. So it was kind of just like spur of the moment thing, which was so dope about coming up rapping and stuff, is that you could do it any moment. That's what's so dope about it now. You could still do pretty much any of that any moment.
And the era you were coming up in was what? What era was it? Like, what decade was it?
I was coming up in the 80s. I came up in the 80s and 90s. Pretty much is what influenced me. That's pretty much what it was. I came up in the 80s era and 90s era right then. 80s and 90s.
And that's the era I love, man. It's still what I listen to these days. That's still why I listen to you and like Master Ace and all them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I think the integrity of what you had to say and what music you made was such at a high caliber back then that, it just influenced me overall and all around. So yeah, that definitely is one of my biggest influences, if not my biggest influence.
And when it comes to artists that influenced you when you were younger, who would you say influenced you?
I would definitely say Juice Crew. So G-Rap, Kane, Ace, Craig G,
right?
That whole group of artists there, and then also the KRS-One, LL Cool J, Run DMC. A lot of those artists, I pretty much was like looking at it like the standard of the best. That's pretty much how I made sure I was just listening to the standard of who was the best, whoever was the best at that time. Even like I liked Rakim, but I really didn't really buy a Rakim album until later on. But I was like more influenced by Cool G Rap.
Right. But definitely Rakim back then. A lot of people looked up to Rakim back then, just like they looked up to Cool G Rap. I'd say they had like an equal like following. Maybe one had a little more possibly, but I think they both influenced that era very, very, very strongly.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, there was always comparisons and who's better and all of those things around that time. And for me, G-Rap would always have these rhymes in the middle before he got to the end of the rhyme that always made me go like, man, this guy's incredible. And I just try to emulate his style as much as I could.
His writing technique is crazy.
Yeah, and it's timeless.
Definitely. And what do you think about like the new era, like this era we're in right now? How do you feel about it? You feel like we lost a part of hip hop in it, or do you think that they've done something that's obviously it's gained hip hop its notoriety of being the best genre now? But do you think the 90s did that in the early 2000s, or do you think that these guys made it so more popular?
I think hip hop is definitely more popular now because of the accessibility through the internet. So hip hop is way more popular because of devices. You can just, plug up a device. You can hit a button and put music out. You don't need a record deal. You don't need anybody to help you put music out but yourself. And by the click of a button, you can become a star overnight. Before, your destiny and fate was in the hands of other people, which I feel like sometimes those people didn't know what they were talking about, because you had a lot of artists that were rejected by label execs and A&Rs that went somewhere else and became huge.
Yeah, I hear you. So let's jump into like the middle of your career when you start getting that buzz that you have. Like, what album do you think did that for you?
The notoriety that came for me, I would say, started going to a lot of open mics, and then the Lyricist Lounge album. That was really one of the turning points, the Tribe Called Quest album. But I got to also say one of the major points was being on the Black Star album. That album is so legendary that being on there also definitely shined a light on what we could do, being amongst some elite other artists.
Definitely. And I remember that, actually.
Those are all like 3 classic albums that I had to,
You can't forget those albums. That's the thing.
Not at all.
So when you think about back during that time, what kind of memories do you have? How do you feel about that point in time?
Man, it was just a lot of running around the city.
And that's a big city, bro.
Oh my goodness, you were just trying to. Where's the next open mic at? Yo, you going? Yo, they doing this downtown at 3. Yo, that's over. They got this going on at 7. You going? Yeah. They over here in the park. So you're on your way walking to a show, and then there's a cipher across the street. Yo, they're rhyming over here. So you cross the street, you go rhyme over there for a little bit. Then you looking at your clock, your watch, trying to make sure you don't miss the time it is the show starts or open mics. And then you leave that one open mic and everybody's like, let's go eat. And then after you go eat, somebody else comes from another club that's open. I mean, like, New York is such a 24-hour city, you know.
It's the epitome of hip hop, man. It's a staple. Like it's like 50 staples.
Yeah. So it's always something to do, always something going on, that we would just run around the city and just hope you had enough money to get through the day.
Exactly. I hear what you mean, man. See, that's why when I was making music, I wish that I was coming up in New York and shit, because around here, like, people make music, you know, but they stick to themselves. They're not willing to branch out. They're not willing to extend that olive branch or, you know, like, try to collaborate and try to build something. They'd rather just stick to their own or stick to the clique. In New York, if there's a cypher going on, you're welcome to jump in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's weird that you said it really is like so cliquish, like you couldn't jump in ciphers. Like that's kind of what I miss. I haven't seen, how often nowadays do you go to a store or you see yourself just walking and driving and there's a group just rapping out on a corner? That's not even common probably no more.
No, it's not. And it's because rapping about the bars and about hearing what someone's got to say no more. In my opinion, it's changed to just a lot of melody and a lot of fitting on that melody, you know. And don't get me wrong, these younger generation kids that are coming up with this new type of music, they got something going for them, but
right.
I still think that the bars matter and the flow matters, and like that boom bap 90s hip hop beat matters, you know what I mean?
I think you just got to find what you're looking for. It's out there. It's out there. You just got to kind of look for it. But I think everything is out there for those that want it.
Yeah, definitely. And I do have people that I listen to. Like, I find, like, in my Canadian catalog of artists that I'm recently interviewed, like, I found some dope artists. Like, one of my favorite Canadian artists right now is a female artist that I met. She's so dope. Her name's Lavender. I'm gonna send you one of her joints actually after we're done this, because you gotta check this chick out, man, because she's got a bar. She put some dudes under the table, I'll tell you that.
Dope. Yeah, man. You know, I always try to make sure when I'm listening my favorites that I throw a female or two in there, because there are some females that incredible. Lauryn Hill, when she came out bar-wise, you were just like, you wanted to hear her. You know, you wanted to hear her more than you heard anybody else in that group.
Lauryn Hill was great.
Right. So I just want to make sure, you know, a lot of times that I do mention the females too when I'm doing my top 10 or whatever list it is.
Yeah, when I mention like female artists, I try to mention them just as artists. I try to keep the female out of it, because they're doing the same thing that the men are doing, man. You know what I mean? They don't need to be labeled as a female artist. We see them. We know they're a woman.
Yeah, you know, you saying that makes me think of when I'm kind of referring to when I'm teaching in school and things like film production, and I'm talking to a young lady that might want to act, and I'm like, oh, so you want to be an actor? That's cool, because the other word is actress, and from what I've researched, that's kind of condescending. Instead of just saying actor should just cover both genders.
Yeah, that's what they've done now. They've used actor to cover both genders, which I find fine. It's a thing you just got to make note of in your head so you remember, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so tell me, sorry, just on a side note, tell me more about this school that you're speaking about. What's this?
Yeah, well, I've been teaching for 6 years at a magnet school for the arts, and I teach TV, film, and music production. And it's been incredible because I've been able to help kids kind of bring their ideas out of their minds to a stage that is visual or something that they can listen to. So I get excited being that I can help students with all these thoughts running through their minds of creativity, figure out how to organize their thoughts and actually present some material.
See that I'm trying to like get the podcast to the point where we end up fundraising enough that I'm able to go to the city and open an arts center and do the same thing that you're doing, because we have arts center, but it's everybody, you have to pay for it, you know what I mean? It's very expensive. I want to open one where I have people there and they're willing to help and volunteer and help kids get their music out or get their theater out, whatever they want to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it'll be dope. You know, I wouldn't mind coming out there and holding a workshop. So.
See, that'd be great if we, after this COVID stuff stops, if I was able to get that done. I mean, even if we can't get an arts center, I could just rent a community center and you could do it.
Yeah, I'm down for it for sure.
Appreciate that, man, because that really means a lot to me, because when I was younger, I wish I had something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I think, where I am and where I need to be right now, as far as just like, you know, I think I've done a lot and learned a lot, but now it's time to like pass it down to others and help to preserve. You know, we're trying to preserve certain things and also be the bridge, you know. So I want to be able to be the bridge between things as well. So I think when you don't have that bridge, that's how a lot of it gets separated. And you got kids that's just like only care about the current. They don't even do research or care about what came before.
Yeah, and you're very honorable for doing that, and I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. Thanks, man. I just trying to evolve with everything that I've done and learned and stuff like that.
And what else can you do except that, right?
Right. That's where you have to go with it eventually.
Exactly. So I know we spoke on the middle of your career. Let's get to the present and talk about that album that you sent me. I don't have it pulled up, and to be honest, I think it was Champion Sounds, right?
Yeah. Champion Sounds. Champion Sounds is an album with me, Pearl Gates, and produced by Quincy Tones, who is actually from the UK. He's well known for doing a lot of things as well. He did some stuff on EMC too. But yeah, man, it's an album that I think it shows a lot of that bridging that I'm talking about with it's hip hop boom bap, and then there's some stuff on there that's real current, and you get to see the flexibility of definitely the talent that Gates has. Gates is singing some of the hooks, and then we're rapping, and nothing sounds like. The one thing I love about it is that nothing sounds like we're forcing it. It just sounds all naturally done, you know?
It did sound very organic.
Yeah, so there's nothing on there that we're like, wait, hey, we need to make a record for this. It's more so like, yo, this beat is fire. Let's do this. Yo, I like this joint. Let's do this, you know? Man, this joint is hard. We need a joint like this. But it's all naturally how we feel. There's nothing we're aiming at, no particular anything. It's just how do we feel and enjoy making the album.
Yeah, and I love how when I look at the album right now and what we talked about at the beginning of our conversation about Kool G Rap, I love how it came full circle and he's on one of the joints.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, you know, Gates, without meeting Gates, I probably would have never had a song with G Rap. So that's how the world works sometimes. You know, Gates doing that hook on G Rap's album, getting that favor owed to him, it just came back full circle. So then now I got a song with one of my favorite artists ever.
And it must have been crazy for you. You must have loved that feeling. I mean, I would love to have my favorite artist on a joint with me, like when I was rapping. So I could imagine how you feel.
Yeah, just we were waiting for that verse to come in. You know, when you being patient, like, yeah, he's gonna do it, and it's like, you know, you got to give artists their time, and of course he got life going on, so, you know, I just was waiting, we was waiting, like, we already had our stuff done, and it was like, when that verse came in and it was on there, I was like, man, seal the deal right there, man, seal the deal, one of my dreams.
So usually on the podcast we have the artist put out 2 songs on the podcast, and since this is a special episode because you're my first very recognized person that'll be featured on the podcast, I'm gonna put 2 full track on the podcast, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, man, I would appreciate that. I also...
Which track would you like me to do first? Because I want you to introduce it for us right now.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Wordsworth, and right now you're about to check out Champion Sounds featuring Cool G Rap. Spuddy Roots is on there doing the hook. Pearl Gates, Quincy Tones production. Champion Sounds. Yeah.
Welcome to the champion, sound wave that you can't be unless we grant meetings. Money bags they hand me and words stir the pot. Crowds flock, they stampeding, overserve the block. With supply to demand needing, can't am speeding. Wildin' out though I prefer to drop. Heard the bop, weapons are drawn cause this a murder op. Heard to hop out your ass quicker than diarrhea. You try me or anybody reppin' my side, see your demise. Just like Sia, you can't see us heating chai tea up warming them pies. It's from my mouth to God's ears. Clear vocal, smooth, teach youngins to show improve. And tell the old heads that time for growth is overdue. Chop the arugula, fruit smoothies and Kama Sutra love. From fly cuties, we just doing us, fucking Google us. Pearl Gates, Wordsworth, Quince Tones at the conclave, making fire and brimstone.
It's a murder, they kill a soundboard. Big man, the meaner don't come around, boy, don't try. Lyrical assassin showdown, international, classical champion sound. It's a murder, they kill a soundboard. Big man, the meaner don't come around, boy, don't try. Lyrical assassin showdown, international, classical champion sound.
Hold belts every weight class, light, middle, and heavyweight, forever great, never fake, real estate, every state, regulate the streets, hold court, the ghetto legislates to settle hate, people pull metal longer than measure tape, title contenders and rivals surrender, we drop November, you should hibernate, survive for the winter, words printed, authentic, most your idols pretenders, sacred to know us like the pastor has the Bible remembered, Tyson, Ali, Mayweather, champion sound, our music raising sons of the fathers that can't be around, oh you gotta show your big break a chance to be found, sorry in advance I'm in Cannes, France, I can't be in town, international collateral, invested in venture capital, Silicon Valley and Cali, Florida, Cape Canaveral, Gates said Google us, Netflix the two of us, Facebook Live, Instagram, Hulu us, Voodoo us.
It's a murder, they kill a soundboard. Big man, the meaner don't come around, boy, don't try. Lyrical assassin showdown, international, classical champion sound. It's a murder, they kill a soundboard. Big man, the meaner don't come around, boy, don't try. Lyrical assassin showdown, international, classical champion sound.
Yeah, kid, I'm one in a million. Got my gun, I'ma kill him. I'ma dump till I peel him. Come from the slum of the villains. See him tucking and stealing. We see him ducking and peeling. We make him run for the hills and we only sparing the children. Kill him, 1 in a million up in his chillin', artery spilling. I be coming concealing, go to war, drumming and drilling. Put a slug in your grillin' and put your lungs on the ceiling. Blow your tongue out the building, leave your legs numb with no feeling. Straight bullets coming, we dump on civilians. Sleeping pills for your satin pillow, we pillaging. No evidence, we leaving lost like Gilligan. The kingpin in the chiller skin with the tilted brim. Dirty dough, bank account flooded with filthy M's. Acquitted cases, the kid face got a guilty grin. The man soprano, keys like a grand piano. Pearl Gates, pearl nickel placed with fancy ammo. DR to PRB, sand with Tantianos. Camo bikini nymphos, dancing in front of ranchons. Chancey Gamble, hammer holding sandballs. We moving up Frank Lopez to Alejandro, you know? No.
I never have a time limit on episodes because my platform is I want the person behind the art to be speaking their mind and speaking about their art, you know what I mean?
I agree.
I feel like when a person comes on an interview, they let all that artist, you know how artists are, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, it's not a radio interview, it's a podcast, you know what I mean? And I try to interview the person behind the art rather than the art that the person's making.
Yep, I got you totally.
But I do love the Champion Sounds album. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, like, I'm not trying to downplay the music on this. I am a big fan of you. I've already expressed that. And the Champion Sounds album was great. I was glad that you let me listen to a few of the joints.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No, I didn't think that at all.
You plug whatever you got to plug, my bro.
Cool.
But I was just gonna say, like, after the Champion Sounds and all that, what do you have any other projects in the work for music?
Yeah, I have an album produced by Kells with the Heat. So that album is actually being mixed right now, and I actually have to record one more song. So I actually am gonna do that after I get off of here. I got a verse that I need to record, and then that'll be getting mixed, and then just start working on some art ideas.
Okay, that sounds great. And one more thing is I wanted to ask you, because since you have a connection to Ottawa by means of Spit and Image and now me as well, what was it like working with Spit and Image?
Well, what I thought was dope was, we were talking on Facebook. I believe that's how we got everything kind of pretty much put together, Facebook and Instagram. And what was dope about it was just like, we both are just common people that just want to do great music. You know, like we work, we love making music. We both feel like we got something to say. So I thought it was dope that he invited me to be on a track. But then one of the big things about it too that I enjoyed is that the beat was dope. You know, sometimes I may get a feature and I may not like the beat as much. So I try to make sure the verse can make even the beat better. Sometimes it's the opposite, right? Sometimes you can have a dope beat and it makes that artist sound better, and then it's sometimes the opposite. I didn't have to worry about that with the beat Spittin' gave me. Like, it was just like, as soon as I heard the beat, I was like, oh, this beat is fire. So I went in and typically I write a 16, and I think I did like a 24 or something because I was so excited about the track.
Yeah, it was a 24. I counted it when I listened to it.
Okay, yeah. So I was like so excited to do it, and I had posted an Instagram about me doing the verse and everything, man. So I'm excited that he chose me to be on that song, because like I said, sometimes it might not be the right song necessarily that I'm excited about, and I've had that occur before. Somebody will send me, I never understood this. Somebody would send me a beat that they're having somebody else on for their project, but then they send me my beat with it too, and I'm like, yo, I like this beat, and they're like, yeah, that beat, I just wanted you to hear it. That's for a song with so and so. I'm like, well, why'd you send it to me? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well, like that sounds a little like redundant.
Yeah, don't send me two beats and you want me to hear one of the beats I can't rhyme on. So
yeah.
It was dope that Spittin' sent me something that I loved, and that's why I went in the way I did, and it's great. I appreciate hearing him on the song, and it's dope.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that because Spittin' was on the podcast, and he was really open and honest about his struggles with mental health and his past, and I just wanted to ask you that so he could hear that and get that respect that he deserves and the recognition he deserves, because I don't think the city here shows him it enough, and I think you showing him the respect he deserves is gonna give him a little bit of positivity and a morale boost. So I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, I would just say to Spittin', once he hears this, if he does, or so on and so forth, it's just, you gotta look at, there's a lot of other artists that are big now, but it took them sometimes longer than it's taken us to get on. So I kind of look at it a lot like that sometimes, like a Black Thought is kind of now getting his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like a Common wasn't really that known until he ran into Kanye, but he was out so many years. Artists with these stories that it takes so long before they get recognized, that I just try to make sure that as long as you're putting out quality stuff, it'll get seen. So just keep going, man, and just keep putting out quality stuff.
Definitely, and I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much, bro.
Yep, anytime.
And one more thing on music, and then we'll move on to your book, is if you're looking for like boom bap beats, I have a connection with a Ukrainian producer who makes some fire boom bap beats and hip hop beats in general. So I'm gonna send you a link to him so you can check him out. And because I have a few joints, I'm starting to come back slowly. I'm doing a comeback EP because I feel like I missed the game. I missed the feeling of making music. So I figured I'll do a 7-track EP.
Right.
So I have that Slant Beats production. That's what they go by. I'm going to show you their link after so you can check out their beats. And if you message them about a beat and you like it, just tell them that I sent you, and he'll probably just give it to you off the bat.
Okay, dope.
So yeah, that's just a thank you for me, I guess.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. I just, if it's somebody that's dope and creative, I just want to keep making dope creative stuff.
Yeah, man, and hopefully maybe one day I could see you on one of my joints. That'd be an honor too.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's talk about your book. Tell me about your book.
Yeah, I have a book out right now. It's called What Words Are Worth, Volume 1, New Beginning. And it's behind the scenes, my thoughts about the lyrics I wrote for my album, New Beginning. So as you read it, you get to see pictures of me on my trips to South Africa and other places. So I wanted to write this book because it's similar to like a Shakespeare. Nowadays, you still kind of like speculate what he meant in Romeo and Juliet or Othello. With me being able to write the lyrics out and then break them down every 4 bars, you actually know everything that's on my mind. You know what I'm thinking, what I'm talking about, things like that. So, yeah, definitely check it out. What Words Are Worth, Volume 1, New Beginning. And it's on Amazon. And, you know, that's what the book is about.
Okay, and when did that drop?
That actually came out roughly almost a year ago, coming up. So it came out last year, July. It was during the pandemic, and being home and all those days, I was like, man, I need to come out of this pandemic with something done. Whatever it is, it needs to be something done, whether it's an album, whether it's a book. But I found that, okay, what can I accomplish with all this downtime? And so the book came out of that downtime.
All right, and how do you feel about it yourself?
I like the book a lot, man. I think it gives people another insight of how I think. I think it also provides a different voice, similar to doing this podcast. You know, people hear me rhyme for 16 bars or 24 bars. You don't really know what makes me write those bars. You don't get to hear my narrative voice. You don't get to talk to me. You don't get to ask me about anything else other than the bars you heard. So
exactly, and that's why, like I said, I like bringing the person on the podcast and not the artist. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So it gives you. I like the fact that you get a behind the scenes and you get to hear that I'm a normal person, similar to everybody else.
It sounds good, man. It sounds good.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. So it's available now. Amazon, What Words Are Worth, Volume 1.
If you give me all the links for that after this, I'll put them in the description for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do that for sure.
All right. And so, yeah, I don't know if you want to jump into a conversation about mental health, because it's a big part, and we're definitely trying to help and inspire people to get out and get the help they need, or inspire them to like pick up an art or a craft, anything, something to get their emotions channeled correctly, or get the help check that they need for mental illness or anything mental health wise. So I don't know if you have any personal stories that you could speak on, or if you want to just talk on mental health in general. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, working in a school, there are kids that deal with mental health issues and things like that. And I just try to be as supportive as possible by just kind of altering and tailoring the way I may teach them. So that's one of the things I just learned to do, is just make sure that I can tailor how I teach them. So, and then just kind of alter it. So if they're into a certain thing, or, you know, I'll may say, okay, we're doing this particular project on a PSA. So a lot of times when we're doing projects, they also, I find that a lot of people that deal with mental health care about the messaging of mental health.
A lot of people do care about mental health when they're dealing with mental health, and those are it's funny that those are usually the people that are really only talking about it.
Yeah, so in my class, what I do is, if that's something that you're concerned about, you could do a PSA based on that. You can do a documentary based on that. You could do a short film based on that. You could do I mean, there's so many different things we can do based on mental health. So that's kind of how I run the classes. I address mental health through videos and messages. You could do a song, and then do the music video too in my class based on it. So I definitely like to bring light to it whenever I'm able to. If I know a student is dealing with it, or I know somebody is dealing with it, maybe a friend I just try to make sure I uplift them and let them know that I'm there, and try to find solutions to keep their mind off of whatever may be bothering them at that time. But it's definitely a roller coaster dealing with it, I'm sure. So I just try to make sure whenever I'm around, I'm trying to provide some positive outlooks and some support. And I think that's really it. Even if I just got to listen for hours, just want to support.
Exactly, and the whole thing about mental health is all people really look for is support, and some of them might need to get certain help with certain conditions they may have, but it doesn't mean that they can't make an art or make music or do theater, you know what I mean? It doesn't stop them. It doesn't stop their train, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, support. Support is key.
And what kind of mental health are the students that you're speaking on dealing with, if you don't mind? Do they have, like, are they outspoken about it? Like,
sometimes they are, sometimes they'll admit to some of their things, I have a lot of kids that may also mention that, they have anxiety.
That's a big one.
Yeah, and, I just try to give them more time when it's time to work on stuff, or I just say, okay, I get it. So what would you like to do? And then we figure out how they can incorporate anything that they enjoy doing to shed light on mental health. I think that's really it. Like, a lot of times it's just really adjusting to what they love to do and what they like to do. So that's what I've been doing, just adjusting to what they enjoy.
Right. And the students that you work with, are they just are they at-risk youth, or?
No, they're not, but they are low income students.
Okay.
So I work at a Title I school, so it's a lot of low income students. And
what's a Title I school? I don't know what that is. We're in Canada, so we have different titles, I guess. I don't know what that means.
Title I school is just low students that are come from low income families. So it allows, that school gets funded, through the government, and they may get funds to have more supplies and things that can help a student that they may not be able to afford. So, we get we'll have art supplies and pencils and things like that we can actually help provide the students with, binders. You get like a backpack and stuff like that. So it gets supported so that way it can help students with low incomes.
Okay. So you've been doing that for 6 years, about? Yeah,
6 years.
And you find it much different from hip hop, I guess, right?
It's similar in the form of, when I'm writing and saying verses, I'm teaching people stuff, and
right.
And then it's shorter though, because the explanation, that's where it stops at as far as being compared. The explanation I can't give with the verse. Like, I can say everything and you listen to it and you agree or you don't. In class, it's pretty much, if I'm explaining something to a student, or teaching, if I'm teaching a student something, I can explain why this is something, how this became that. I can provide a background knowledge for it. I can give some history on it. I can show pictures for it. When you're doing music, if you don't have a video, then it's just kind of, people are envisioning and trying to picture it themselves.
Yeah.
So, and they don't have a chance to question me, right? So if I do a song, you listen to it, you can't say, oh, what words say that? I don't really agree with that. In class, I can say something, the kid goes, well, why do you think that? Or why is it made like that? Why is this? And so questions, that's a huge difference between teaching and actually making music. Nobody questions you with your music until after. And even if they do, you don't have to answer their questions. In class, you actually do have to justify what you're saying.
True. Fair enough. And what inspired you to become a teacher, man?
Well, my youngest was doing bad in 5th grade. And when I went up there, I found out they didn't have adequate substitute teachers. So I felt like, okay, well, I'm home pretty often from after tours. So like sometimes I'll tour and then I'm not around. And then sometimes I'm home for like a nice amount of time. So I said, you know what, I could be a sub, right? So like if I'm home, I can go and sub. So I figured, you know what, let me go be a substitute teacher for her class and help them get whatever they need, because, she's being, not getting the appropriate learning. And then when I went down to the district to fill out my paperwork, a lady actually approached me and said that I need to be a full-time teacher because there's not enough black male role model teachers in the district, so I need to be there full-time. And that changed my life.
That's crazy to hear, man.
Yeah, and so I think what was amazing to me was that it was a white lady that approached me, and she kept it that real with me, saying, hey, man, your race is out here, and they need you because there's not a lot of role models in the classroom that reflect them. And on right then and there, in a matter of seconds, I said, all right, let me do it. I can't remember the name or who it was. I wish I could, but I would love to just give her a lot of props because
she kept it all the way real.
Right. And she could have been like, all right, sub, all right, see you later, and not really care about that. I think that shows the fact that she cares about the residual effects that all races and everybody has upon the world and global community and things like that. Her just taking that into consideration.
Definitely. And man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate and respect you taking on these students and helping them, because there's too many people nowadays that are just dropping out and just not caring about education, and it's so important these days, man.
Yeah, it's the biggest challenge of my life, but the most important and the most fun that I've had. As far as working, I love doing music and all that. I'm going to do music all the time, but knowing that the ripple effect that I'm setting off from where I'm at, I think is a bigger deal.
Yeah. And did your students know that you were a rapper when you first started teaching them?
They didn't know at first, but eventually they find out, because they all get computers now. So every teacher that teaches a kid, they should know that the kids are going to Google them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard for you to just, do something and think the kids aren't going to find out. They Google you. As soon as they got that computer, they type your real name in and they find out everything you did.
Yeah, they know you, man.
Yeah, so they just Google me, and some of them knew, and then some of them don't know, and I don't really share it, actually, until I don't share it until maybe mid-year, maybe towards the end of the year, because I don't want you to listen to me because I do that stuff professionally. If you're gonna listen to me because I'm an adult and you respect what I'm teaching you.
Yeah. I don't
want there to be a difference when you come in my room, you're acting and behaving properly because I do all these things, and then you go to the next teacher and it's a disrespectful thing. I want to make sure there's a equilibrium going across everything.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. And how are the students with you?
Yeah, they're fine, man. They're fine. I think because I'm pretty cut and dry and honest with them, and I talk to them, as a teacher, but I also, if I hear them saying something, I'll actually address life stuff. So I think that's why I get along with them, is because I also am interested in what they're interested in. So if somebody's listening to country music, what country artist is that? If you're listening to hip hop music, what artist is that? I ask questions about what they're into because I want to learn about it. There's cartoons. Oh, let me see, what cartoon is that? So I learn about all these anime cartoons. I just make sure that I'm interested in everything they're interested in, and I think that goes a long way.
And what grade is it that you're teaching?
I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Okay, so they're a little bit older, junior high almost. Well, junior high, I guess.
Yeah, and then what's cool is that they're all in the same classroom. All the grades are mixed up in one room.
Okay, and how many students do you take on at once?
Typically 20 to 25. Some classes 16. My advanced classes are smaller. They're 10 each in there. So it all depends. We're roughly 20 some.
Okay. That last part you said I didn't catch about the students in the advanced class. What did you say about them?
Yeah, it's a smaller class because they're kind of the best of the best from the previous year.
Okay. That's what I missed.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that goes. Those classes are smaller, but you could it's a difference. I can see the difference totally. When you have the beginning class, everybody's still apprehensive about what to do or trying to do stuff. They're kind of nervous. I don't know. I don't want to step in and do something. I'll give you an example. I have one music class that's new, all beginners. And in that class, they got about like 5, 6 songs just recording. I mean, they're recording every week. Can I lay a verse down? Can I record this? Can I record it? Making songs constantly, music videos constantly. Then I got, then I have another 2 music 1 classes. So the second one, it's like 25 kids, and nobody wants to go in the booth. They're all afraid of, I guess, being judged or whatever. And then I got the third one.
That's a big audience, though, for a beginner, man, you know, going in the booth.
Yeah, but in the first class, it's about 16 people, too. So it's kind of, it really is a personality thing, and also...
Definitely.
And then it's also if you have a friend in there, maybe, but these classes have friends. So it's really a personality, that person that wants to go in there.
I agree.
Yeah, then my last class is a small class, beginner, but there's one girl in there that she goes in the booth like almost every week. She writes songs and go in there every week. So I would go from that observation, and then I can kind of pick now, right? Because I know everybody's personality. I know who's not afraid. I know who's. So then the next year, when it's time to pick advanced people, I can say this person, that person, that person, all in one room are gonna be incredible. So when I look at my advanced music class, if you ever came to my advanced music class, they're barely ever sitting down because they're throwing ideas up. Somebody's recording, they're writing rhymes, they're freestyling. Like, because they all have the same personality.
Yeah. They're all aiming for the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, man. That's very admirable, man. I can't believe it. Like, I didn't know that about you, and like, I'm very glad that like I got to learn that through you on this show. That goes to show that not only did I learn something, then definitely someone else that's listening is gonna learn something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll actually give you some links and stuff like that to like, it was the class and the course. I created it from scratch and everything, man. So like it made it to the news and everything. So I'll put that link in the chat, and you can see like some of that stuff, and I'll also put some other stuff in the chat too to check out, you know.
Yeah, I'll definitely check everything out, bro, for sure. So a few more questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Let me think. So recently, DMX passed away.
Yeah.
How'd you feel when that happened? I know you're from New York, so obviously it hits home for most artists in New York. How did you feel about that, man?
Man, it just gives you like, you know, reminds you of like your childhood and where you were during that time. So that's how it is for me. Like, it makes me remember those times of like Rough Riders was ruling the industry. So that's the thing about it. And then just I bought every DMX album. That's what's so, you know, ill about it for me, is like I bought every DMX album. So I'm just like, man, I really have a bond with him based on the music, you know, a lot, because of the album, the music. And that's what makes you think you know somebody, because of the music.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then there was X. Like, I remember buying the DMX album overseas in Europe, and like, oh, the new X album is out, and going buy it in Europe. And like, man, this album is crazy, it's incredible. And
what album was that?
And then there was X. I think I bought overseas.
Okay.
It might have been a Great Depression, but I think there was X. I think that's what it was.
Man, yeah, some classic albums, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the quality of the albums. See, what's so wild is the first one I didn't buy back then, right?
Yeah.
Because around that time, remember, that was Cannabis, Big Pun era. Him, around that first time, I kind of wasn't sure of what kind of music he would make. Get At Me Dog was dope, and then that album Slippin', and he had some dope songs. But then like the next album, I started buying DMX on the third, fourth, and fifth album I got of DMX. So, you know, I was kind of like a late person to come around to him, but then once I started listening to him more and more and listen to the songs, I was like, yeah, this guy's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. It's so unfortunate that we lost him so early, man, because he was just about to put out an album. I know they're going to still put it out, but it's not the same, man.
Yeah.
And one more question, because you're from New York, and I don't know if you know Rye So Valid. It's Fat Joe's son.
Oh, yeah. I've seen him on the reality show.
Yeah, well, he was on episode 3 of this podcast, so
Okay.
I asked him too. What are your thoughts on Tekashi 6ix9ine, man?
I really have no real thoughts on him, to be honest. I never was like a fan of the music. I think it's just something to you watch and you observe how it's going down because it's part of hip hop and the culture, you know. So, but I don't have no main thoughts on him at all.
No. I'm not looking for people to start like going off on him. I just mean the whole like situation that he put himself in. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I think he just bit off more than he can chew. He thought fame was so important. Fame is more important than, I guess, loyalty and things of that nature. I just think he just bit off more than he could chew, Like, he was like, he wanted to be a star and he figured this might be the way to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe desperation got to him, but I think that's pretty much it with him.
Yeah, I think he definitely did bite off more than he could chew, and I think that he put himself in a position that he has to watch himself for the rest of his life. But
yeah.
Do you think he's safe doing these performances he's been doing? He's been like crowd surfing and all that. I don't know if he's safe doing that, man.
I think he'll be all right, man. I think he knows what it is, and if anybody does something to him, they'll be caught right there.
True.
Yeah, but overall, man, I just think like Kashi was kind of like one of those experiments too. Like, if you watch his story, if people know his story, and when people look back at his story, it was just like, people are either going to say, you know what, I'm going to do what Tekashi did, or they're going to say, never do what Tekashi did.
Yeah, exactly. He definitely was an experiment.
Yeah.
But I think that experiment went very, very wrong.
Yeah, it did.
That was like dropping like a vial of something that you shouldn't drop, and then it's just fucked everything up.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm going to end this with you with a quick 5. I'm going to ask you a question, and whichever one comes to you first, just choose it, or whatever comes to mind first.
Okay.
Just right off the top, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll start off. Fat Joe or pun?
I'm going to say pun.
All right, weed or liquor?
Neither. I don't do either.
Okay. This era or the old era?
I got to go with both. Like, I enjoyed the last era, but like, I don't look at it like that. And I can go further into it just dealing with from a business perspective. If you're in the music business, you got to kind of just be prepared to understand it all.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Florida and New York?
New York when I was younger, Florida now that I'm older.
All right. And your favorite rapper as of right now? Or if you want to do a top 5 list for me.
If I did top 5, I would go, of course, Jay, Nas, G-Rap. I like Drake like that too. I think Drake is bananas with some of the rhymes. Who else? I could say Biggie in there. I'll throw Biggie in there for sure. That's 5.
Yeah, that's 5.
Yeah, I could do that. I might be leaving somebody out, but I think that's good for now.
Yeah, I only gave you a top 5. I know if it was a top 10, you'd have much more.
Yep.
But so I don't know what track you want to end this with, but if you want to choose one really quick and just do an outro for it.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Wordsworth. And right now, you're about to check out Photograph by me, Pearl Gates, Champion Sounds album. All right, produced by Quincy Tones.
I can't
months behind bars I waited. Been in here half the year, now it's March I made it. Time ticking in jail, I got flicks in the mail. Gave me the reason why I didn't get bail. My lady hugged up with my best friend, the West End of Central Park in the dark, and they checked in the West End. Believing lies she been saying for months. Turned down her pictures from my wall, then I laid in my bunk. The address on the mail was from my sister that caught her. Flicks in Cancun on the waves in the water. Got the nerve to have on the shades that I bought her. Supposed to be my man, now I'm thinking manslaughter. And both too busy to visit me, discovered they were too busy getting busy with each other. Stared at the ceiling as the photos dropped. Can't be real, I know it's not. These gotta be photoshopped.
From another side, I kept it realer by your mother's side. Transparent in my moves, never wanna hide. Gliding out the hood, but when I'm back in it, black tinted on the back blocks to dodge lieutenants. This life caught up, they got you in the box with your guard up. I'll come around your crib, buy bibs for your youngest daughter. Nothing to me, just the way that I was brought up. Start to kick it with your other half, cause times for it got harder. Shopping bags for the fridge, told money for the bridge. Next thing you know, pulling closer than we supposed to get. Valentine's Day spent most of it together. Flights back and forth to avoid the weather. Didn't want you to see it, much rather told you first. I put myself in your shoes, that's how I know you hurt. But would you rather your woman hoe and roaming the earth? I held it down for real for you for what it's worth.